Hello. I am demonstrating the way I've taught my class to do long division. My rationale behind this is that my students are very successful when listing multiples and then understanding the increase in place value when multiplying by groups of 10, like 10, 100, 1,000. We struggle with the memorization of our multiplication facts, and the traditional method of division really focuses on knowing the closest factor and product when working with our dividend here. So I've taken that out for them and let them have a way where they can do what they know and work with what numbers they know instead of having to have an exact number. So what we would do first is we would look at this number and we would think about how many digits it has, what value each number has, and then we'd also look at our divisor and think about its relationship to this number. So for example, thinking about multiples, thinking about multiplying by groups of 10, I would say that my students know that 100 groups of 4 is equivalent to 400. So they know that they would, if they had 563 items, they would be able to take 100 groups of 4 or make 100 groups of 4 with that number. Okay, especially since 400 is less than 563. So that leaves us with 163. Now, obviously, we can no longer multiply 4 by 100 because 400 is greater than 163. If I have 163 items, I can't give somebody 400, or I can't make 100 groups of 4 because I don't have enough. So what I would suggest to my student is to begin listing their first 5 multiples. Again, my students are very successful with this. So they would know that the first 5 multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20. So I would encourage them to look at the relationship between 163 and then some of these multiples. So they would notice that 16 is the same as what this number starts with. However, they would also see that the value of this 16 and this 16 are different. This is 16, whereas this is worth 160. So in order to do that, instead of this being the 1, 2, 3, 4th multiple, what my students would do is make this the 40th multiple, therefore making this 160, because 160 is the 40th multiple of 4. So that means that they are taking 40 groups of 4, which is equivalent to 160, and that leaves them with 3. They would recognize that this is the remainder, because if you have 3 items, you cannot make a group of 4. You cannot evenly split 3 items into 4 groups. So they would add what they subtracted from our dividend here. That would be the main part of our quotient with the remainder of 3. Now, if those students or any students are not seeing it exactly like that, that's absolutely fine. What I would encourage them to do is to use what they know. So maybe they just do 4 times 10 and they create groups of 10 and subtract 40s. That's okay. This is going to work however they want to do it. Okay, so this one you were able to start and minimize right away by multiplying by 100. I chose this second one because that's not so. If I multiply 8 by 100, I'm going to get 800, which again, if I have 312 items, I can't take 800 away from them. So I'm going to start right away with my multiples. 8, 16, 24, hope I'm right, 8, 32, and 40. So as I'm looking, I'm noticing, wow, that would be really great if I could do this one, but I can't because 31 is less than 32. So I'm going to have to go here. Again, this is worth 24. This is worth 310. So I'm going to put an extra 0, and that makes this the 30th multiple. So I'm going to subtract 240 from here because I took away 30 groups of 8, and that is equivalent to 240. I'm going to have to borrow, okay, leaving me with 72. So perhaps I know a factor when multiplied by 8 that gets me close to 72, or I continue to use these. So I'm going to go ahead because I expect that most of my students would continue to use this. So the 5th multiple, keeping track over here for my final quotient, is 40. 32. Oh, look at that. It's going to be nice and even. So 4th multiple leaves me with nothing. 9, 3. Final quotient is 39. Alrighty. Have a good one.